No, those are fine because that doesn't even show right now. Yeah, thank you though. Oh. I had one job, watch that guy, and I couldn't even do it. Good afternoon and welcome to the National Teach Ag Day live stream celebration, and a happy National Teach Ag Day to all the ag teachers out there. I specifically want to recognize my agriculture teacher, Mr. Randy Boyles, who is also my father. Welcome everyone from the great state of North Carolina and the beautiful campus of North Carolina A&T. Today is all about celebrating agriculture teachers and encouraging people to consider a career in this wonderful profession. We have a variety of guests here with us in Greensboro, and we hope that you're enjoying wherever you are. We know that there are a lot of celebrations going on across the country, and I sincerely look forward to shouting out some of those and sharing some of the things that are going on. A couple of housekeeping items as we begin the day. Those of you that are using social media to get excited and to interact with us, please make sure that you use the hashtag #TagLive13. And also I want to make you aware that if you have a protected Twitter account or a blocked Twitter account, we will not see your stuff. That's been an issue in the past, so please, if you want us to see what you're saying, you need to at least unblock it or unprotect it for the next couple of hours. This is going to be a wonderful time. The momentum and enthusiasm so far has already been tremendous, and let's not wait any further. Let's bring on the celebration. As a special welcome to you from the campus of North Carolina A&T, I am delighted to introduce you to Dr. Antoine Alston, who has been really, him and Dr. English here on campus have done an amazing job of allowing us to come here and take over their campus and be part of this wonderful day, and we'll also give some shout outs to the rest of the team as we go through the rest of the day. So welcome, and let's begin. Please help me welcome Dr. Alston.
Thank you so much, Ellen. On behalf of Chancellor Martin, Dean William Randall, and the faculty, staff, and students of the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences at North Carolina A&T State University, it is my privilege and honor to have you coming into our campus today. North Carolina A&T has a proud legacy in the field of agriculture, educating our students, the future agricultural leaders of our world. There is no more important time for agriculture than it is now. In the next 30 years, they're predicting we're going to have to produce more food in the next 30 years than we have in the previous 10,000 years combined. 40% of our global workforce is tied to food, ag, and environmental science. So the production of future agricultural leaders has never been more important. And that's where agricultural education comes into play. And more importantly, the production of agricultural teachers, such as the ones that are out here in the audience. I see some of our future ag leaders. We look forward to engaging you in different conversations today. We greatly, again, we welcome you to our campus. We thank the National Association of Ag Educators, National FFA, and all of our other stakeholders for entrusting us with this wonderful opportunity today. We wish you a great day, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I bring you welcome and greetings on behalf of the National Council for Agricultural Education and our board of directors that serve many stakeholder organizations within ag education. It's great to be here today. This has been a tremendous effort that's been undertaken. I want to thank Ellen and NAAE and their great efforts in putting forward the Teach Ag campaign and everything that is being accomplished through their efforts. On the council, this is an extremely important issue, so important it is one of our top strategic priority issues that we are focusing a great deal of effort to try and work through all of our organizations to address. And so the council is grateful for this effort today. They're grateful for what is being done, and we just wish that everyone who gets to be a part of this will in some way internalize it and personalize it and figure out one personal thing that they can do to help us grow the number of agricultural educators so we can grow the number of programs and the influence that we're able to have across the country. Also this morning, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you a great partner that we have in Shireen Donaldson from the United States Department of Education. She works as a program specialist there, as well as working as the National FFA Executive Secretary. She brings a very different background to agricultural education, having spent a lot of her career in science education, but we're blessed to have her thought, the new ideas that she can bring to us to help us tackle the large issues that we have ahead of us, such as the teacher recruitment and retention effort. So at this time, I'll turn the program over to Ms. Donaldson.
Good afternoon. It is absolutely my honor and pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. National Teach Ag Day. Do you know what it means to be a teacher? There's one thing about teachers that always excites me. It's their ability to light unlit candles. And those unlit candles are the students, the community members, the public, everyone that we encounter. So today is a very special day. So I'm absolutely honored on behalf of the U.S. Department of Education as well as the National FFA headquarters to greet you and to provide you with just a little bit of a challenge, actually. As each of you all develop as educators, as each of you all develop as teachers, I ask you to consider the flame that you possess, that flame in your passion for education, especially for agriculture education. Every time you encounter someone, every time you meet someone in the store, on the plane, in the community, try your best to light their candle. Because I believe that one of the things that we have to do is we have to advocate for agriculture education. If it's something that's going to continue, if it's something that's going to continue to be productive and innovative, then it's going to take us, the ag educators of the world, to ignite the flames of others. So my challenge to you, and I've said this before as I have spoken with other groups, is each one reach one. That means each single person do what it takes to reach out to at least one other person and light their flame. Share with them the passion that you have when it comes to education. Every teacher out there does that. And so today I want to commend you for everything that you've done to bring the students, your friends and family to where they are today, especially when it comes to agriculture education. Hats off to each of you, and it's absolutely my pleasure and my honor to be here today and to share this celebration. So again, congratulations and happy National Teach Ag Day. Thank you.
One of the things that we wanted to do, we know you couldn't be here live with us in Aggieland, and trust me, Aggieland is an exciting place to be. And if you happen to be watching TV tonight, we're playing Howard tonight. But at this time, we have a video we would like to share with you just to highlight our campus. And as we say in Aggieland, Aggie Pride.
So you're thinking about coming to North Carolina A&T State University? Great. We can't wait until you're gone. Because it's only after you leave that truly exciting things begin to happen. Your career, the job of your dreams, an opportunity to make a difference in the world. That's not to say your time here won't be incredible, because it will. At A&T, you'll gain knowledge and forge relationships that will provide the foundation for your future success. Maybe your dream is to feed our world by developing a safe and affordable food supply for generations to come. Our agriculture and environmental science students are spending millions in research grants to work on the problem right now. Or maybe you'll be one of our School of Technology graduates, someone who's sought after by top companies from around the globe. But what if you're more business-minded? With an actual stock trading floor within our School of Business and Economics, you'll receive real-world experience that will put you on a path to see the letters CEO on your future business card. Or maybe your plans for the future are actually plans. If you're the type of person who doodles simple solutions to complex problems, You could become a graduate of our College of Engineering. Graduates of our College of Arts and Sciences go on to become journalists, actors, chemists, lawyers, and musicians, just to name a few. In the School of Education, the teachers we graduate become the type of educators students never forget. And from our School of Nursing, graduates find ways to help heal patients around the world. Of course, these are just a few of the places you could go. There are countless more opportunities within any of our schools and colleges. You may even choose to continue your studies through one of our many graduate degree programs, including the country's first Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. There's no doubt you'll receive a world-class education in whatever field you choose to pursue, but you'll also want to immerse yourself in the Aggie lifestyle. From NCAA Division I sports, more than 100 clubs and campus organizations, to our nationally renowned blue and gold marching band, your time here will provide you with the education you deserve and a lifetime of memories you'll never forget. When you get to A&T, you'll find yourself surrounded by top-notch faculty and inspired students who seek to change our world. The Aggie experience and education will prepare you for your next big step, the one you'll take when you leave our campus and embark on an adventure in the world that awaits you. But before you leave our great campus, you must first arrive. Join the Aggie family so you'll be prepared to make a difference in the world.
Hello, my name is Miranda Berglund, and I represent the North Carolina State FFA Association as one of their vice presidents this year. I would first like to start off by thanking all of the ag teachers across the nation. Today is to celebrate you guys, and we want to say thank you for everything you do. Also, I'd like to thank all of the young people who are going into teaching agriculture. It really means a lot to myself personally, being part of the agriculture industry, that you are taking the time to actually go out there and try to educate the youth the way that you were educated and make that difference. So thank you very much. I would also like to make a shout out really quick to my two ag teachers, Mr. Lane Dickens and Miss Jennifer Broadwell, who were instrumental in creating me and shaping my future. I now have the honor and pleasure to introduce Miss Lindsay Anderson, who is a National FFA officer. She comes from California, and she represents the Western region. She wants to be in the agri-science industry, but she also hopes to maybe one day go and teach agriculture and kind of go along with this the same way that you guys are these days. So, Miss Lindsay Anderson.
Thank you, Miranda. I appreciate it. So I was really blessed. I'm just going to move this down. I was really blessed to see this on my schedule. We do a lot of traveling even though we're in September and our national convention is in October. I was surprised to see that, but still blessed to be here and really excited that I got to be here. All my teammates were kind of jealous. Two of them, their dads were both their agriculture teachers, and 3 out of the 6 of my teammates would also like to be in this profession. So our team definitely roots all of you on, so thank you. And I love that this is a celebration, and that's what you call it, because that's what it should be. You should be excited to do what you do every day. So last week, speaking of traveling, I was in Wisconsin, and I was blessed to get to travel along with their state officer team, where we put on leadership workshops every evening. But every morning we worked with fellow partners, both current and potential. So it was really neat to get to see the business and industry there in Wisconsin. We went to one feed mill, and we entered in there, and they filed us through and sat us down in their conference room, and they said, before you get a tour, we'd really like you to meet one of our large investors. So we were pretty excited, I think me more than the others, because I knew what this meant. And so the gentleman walked in and he introduced himself as John Hanson. Now, by the looks of you in this room, and much like me in that room, I said, okay, who's this? He was the founder of Quick Trip. Anyone heard of that? Yep. We were sitting in the same room with the person who started this by himself with him and his wife. And he told us the story of how that happened and how we went to growing up on a farm to creating this huge multi-billion-dollar vertically integrated company, and how we had sold out, and told us the story that went along with that. Completely befuddled in my chair, I was so excited to just get to meet the man, but at the very end he asked us if we had any questions. Being the ag economics major that I was, I simply raised my hand and said, so, what determines where you put your investment? And he answered without hesitation, number 1, it has to be ethical. And number 2, it has to be sustainable. It has to be something that people either have to do or are going to do every day, but certainly every week. So I invest in food and fuel. With a smile on my face saying, shoot, I'm a sophomore in college and I get that. I was on a roll, right? So I had a smile on my face realizing that agriculture, the very thing that I support and promote this year, is exactly what he continues to invest not only his time in, but his money as well. And it's something worth investing in. Agriculture is worth investing in, and that means agriculture education is worth investing in. Not only your time and your resources, but also your money. All 3 are important. 3 key investments. By being an agriculture teacher, you're investing in the future of agriculture. It's not only important for our students to know where their food comes from, but also the science and technology behind where our food comes from and how that happens. That's being taught in agriculture education courses by ag teachers. That's what's important, because that's what's going to be sustainable. So thank you for making that choice to invest in students, to invest in an industry that is so vital to our American history, to our economy. There you go, make them plug for Ag Econ, as well as the future of our country. That's what's important. But not only do students learn about how important agriculture is in their courses, not only do they learn the technical skills that apply to that, but they also gain skills that are invaluable, that will be used for years to come. I can say that I've used the skills that my teachers have taught me hundreds and hundreds of times over through my position this year. I probably shake close to 100,000 hands a week. I learned that from my agriculture teacher in my agriculture course. I learned about eye contact and how to have confidence in a room. No, it was not in a book. No, it was not in curriculum, but I learned that from my agriculture teachers. And it's something that I will use for the rest of my life. So whether it's in a book, whether it's learning to do, whether it's simple soft skills, that some people don't like that term, all of those things come along with being in agriculture education and being an agriculture teacher and able to impact those students. And the neat thing about agriculture education is it is for everyone. It's the perfect fit for every student you can ever imagine. I remember when I was in middle school, I told my sister, who was already in FFA, I'm not going to be in FFA. I'm not like you. Sure enough, here I am, went to FFA, and I'm 21 years old. Found my passion, and it was different than hers. My little brother said, I'm not going to be in FFA. Both my sisters were in FFA and in agriculture education. There's nothing for me. Sure enough, he fell in love with shop. There is something in agriculture education for each of us, and I think that that's pretty neat. I was a freshman, and I was looking up to all of these older students, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do, like I already shared. And I remember one student, his name was Michael, and he was in his shop class, and he did what his thing in shop, and he loved it. And I knew that he was really good at it because he won lots of awards. That's basically the extent of I knew about shop. And he would go through all of this, and then I realized that I probably was never going to see Michael again. Michael graduated from high school, but like you should know in ag, you're going to run into people you never thought you would again. When I was a senior in high school, our shop class was going to be cut. So our school board came together, and we had a school board meeting. And every one of our alumni came, including my parents, lots of folks, and being a chapter officer, I knew I'd have to be there. But I was glad I was there, because I learned a lot in this school board meeting. Person after person stood up and shared why they should not cut our mechanics classes. And the very last person to stand up was Michael. He stood up, chin quivering, and said, "You cannot cut these ag classes. It is the only reason I stayed in school." Now, I'm not a betting woman, but if I were, I would bet to say that he is the very reason why we not only have one shop class now, but 2 full paid teachers in our agriculture education courses. There are students like Michael who may not excel in English or math, but can weld with the best of them and will go on to be very successful. There are also folks who want to be biologists, agronomists, nutritionists. All of them fit in agriculture education. And it's thanks to teachers who seek out that potential and claim that and invest in them, invest in their time and their resources to make sure that student has the best opportunity that they can down the road. I would not be here if it weren't for my agriculture teacher. all three of them. And I would be remiss if I didn't say their names, so thank you very much to Bruce Campbell, Stacey Ingalls, and Jennifer Terpstra. And it's because of them and people like them who really invest in our students. And I know that most of you sitting in this room are sitting in this room or watching this because of your agriculture teacher, because of what they invested in you. Now you have the beautiful opportunity to pass that on to other students, to share that passion, like Ms. Donald had said, to spark that flame in someone else. And I hope that every day you wake up knowing that good, bad, or otherwise in that day in the classroom, that it's worth it, and that you can make that impact. Now going back to the feed mill, when Mr. Hansen went to leave, he walked past the last row of us, who happened to be our teachers, 3 of them. He pointed to them and he said one thing I'll never forget. He said, now don't you remember, as teachers, coaches, or instructors, mentors, whatever you may be, your students are only as good as you are. And again, I smiled, because that is so true. You look at successful students, you see what's behind them, it's a teacher who cares. It's a teacher who's invested in them. So please remember that, whether you're an ag teacher who's been here for 25, 35, some 40 years, or you're just starting out student teaching next semester. Your students are only as good as you are. So please remember to continue to invest and continue to love what you do, because we really appreciate it. So thank you again for having me, and thank you for all that you do as agriculture educators. Thank you.
Wonderful. Isn't it exciting hearing from all of these young people talking about the passion that they have for agricultural education? That's what makes it important. That's what makes it so special, is the ag teachers that have impacted so many lives. And it's what makes a lot of us be the success that we are. But don't take that from me. I want you to hear from some of our amazing agriculture teachers who want to share with you just a little bit about what they do and why they love what they do. So I'm going to show you a quick video of some of our best and brightest.
You've been tagged to teach Ag Ed.
I teach ag because we give context to things like science and math and language arts that sometimes make sense when students learn it in an agriculture classroom.
We're empowering agriculturalists of tomorrow.
I like teaching ag because I like opening doors for something new and interesting. Teaching ag is an excellent opportunity to serve as an ambassador for the industry while influencing the next generation of agriculturalists.
Teach ag and be a positive agent of change.
I teach ag because I enjoy making learning fun for other students.
Because of the large opportunity that creates for kids in open stories.
It's dynamic.
Being connected to a great network of teachers across the country who are dedicated to passionate about agriculture and education.
It's adventurous.
Teaching ag allows me to combine my passion and my profession.
Teach ag because nothing is more important than feeding the world.
For the world to go on, someone must teach others about agriculture. Change the world. Teach ag.
What's going to happen in here? It's legit.
Ag teaching is the toughest job you'll ever love, and we want you.
So those are some of the best and brightest out there impacting the future of agriculture and the future of this country. And I couldn't be more proud to know a great many of them and to call most of my best friends are agriculture teachers. So thank you to them for taking their time to share their passion. The National Teach Ag campaign is an initiative of the council. Mike Honeycutt spoke of the council earlier. And because of the passion of those individuals on the council, seeing the need to elevate this profession and talk about the amazing things that agriculture teachers do, we're able to have the National Teach Ag campaign and things like National Teach Ag Day. But none of that is possible without our amazing sponsors. And our sponsors are CHS Foundation and CHS. Because of them and their continued commitment to developing teachers and ensuring that students have quality people in front of them every day is vital. They have been a sponsor with us for the last few years, and none of this would be possible without them. We're also delighted to welcome CSX, who came on as a sponsor this year, because they too saw the value of making sure that we're recruiting and retaining the very best people in the country to become ag teachers. So please, if you have those people in your community or take some time, they are what make all of this possible. So a great, big, huge thank you to our sponsors. I also want to take a minute now and talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on social media. We've got a lot of people out there that are talking about a lot of different things and celebrations. I'm going to give a shout out to Penn State. I know that they are having a live stream celebration right now, so I hope things are going well for you. I also know that Ohio State today is doing an event where they are inviting students who want to become agriculture teachers to come on campus and tour campus. I also want to give a shout out to Kansas and all of the wonderful things that they're doing. They've even engaged their State Department of Agriculture in celebrating National Teach Ag Day. I want to give a shout out to the University of Minnesota, who is having students stand in a certain place and tell who they were inspired by to become an agriculture teacher. So there are a lot of wonderful things going on out there, and we'll be sharing those throughout the duration of this cast. I also want to bring a special mention to the people that we have in the audience. We have about 45 future agriculture teachers here with us in Greensboro, students from Clemson. They got up super early. They left at 4 o'clock this morning to get here. That is dedication. We have students from Mount Olive College. Nice. And they also got up very early to get here on time. And then we have the students from North Carolina A&T. I don't believe they had to get up quite as early, but they've been helping a lot with things here today. One of the things that we have asked prior to the live stream, we asked teachers to send us pictures of future agriculture teachers, people that have been tagged to teach ag. And so what we've done is create little segments of those future teachers to shout out to them. As a special extra, though, if you are watching this and your picture is on the screen, if you tweet that you saw yourself and we see it, so you need to use tag live13, you will get a special prize sent to your department for your whole entire class. And there are also pictures in here of collegiate programs who have taken some unique photos as well. So I'll turn it over to you to see some of those future ag teachers and encourage them along this path, and we hope to welcome them into the profession very soon. So yay for them, and we'll be meeting some more future teachers and students who are enrolled in agricultural education institutions across the country. I'm delighted to introduce to you now Ms. Julie Tesh, who is the Executive Director of the National FFA Alumni and a wonderful partner with NAAE and TEACHAG and doing what alumni does best, supporting agriculture teachers and ensuring that they have what they need so that they can be successful in their programs and, of course, pass that along to students. Julie is going to moderate a panel of future and current teachers and encourage them to share some of the reasons why you should consider teaching agriculture. So Julie, please welcome to the stage.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Great to have all of you here today. Like Ellen said, my name is Julie Tesh, and I'm Executive Director of the National FFA Alumni. And like she also said, our number one goal is to advocate and support for agricultural education and FFA programs across the nation. We're 54,000 members strong in our alumni programs, but we know that we have a lot more supporters out there. So I encourage you, if you're interested in starting an FFA alumni affiliate in your local chapter, please let us know. And for those of you already involved, thank you for what you do to support our ag teachers. And because it is National Teach Ag Day, I do have to give a shout out because everyone else has. So I need to give a shout out if anyone's watching at the University of Minnesota. Dr. Roland Peterson was my ag instructor and has been a real mentor, and I say he's my true north when it comes to my career in agricultural education. So thank you for all you do, Doc Pete. I know you're probably teaching right now. So we are very excited this afternoon to have a great panel of current and future ag teachers with us. And when Ellen asked if I would help moderate this panel, I'm like, that's great because my whole career has been supporting agricultural education, and I know I'm not going to have to talk much because ag teachers are never one, they always have enough words. So you're going to get to hear from some seasoned veterans and some people who are in the classroom still learning how to become an agricultural education teacher. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and we'll start with Dr. Flowers.
Hello, I'm Jim Flowers. I'm the department head in agricultural and extension education at North Carolina State University. I guess I represent the seasoned veteran on this panel because I look at the rest of them and they are a lot younger than I am. One of the things that I told the group this morning is that on my lapel I have a pin that's an NAAE pin. There's a small circle on the top of that pin that has 40 in it. And that means that I have completed 40 years in agricultural education. But that's just my professional career once I started teaching. 10 of those years was teaching high school agriculture in Tennessee and 30 years at NC State, or in higher education. So that's just the start. It occurred to me also that when you add my high school years and my undergraduate program, I'm getting close to 50 years, a half of a century in this profession. That's a little bit intimidating to me.
Hello, I'm Farrah Johnson. I'm currently teaching agriculture at Deltona High School in Central Florida, about halfway between Orlando and Daytona Beach. I am here today representing the National Association of Agricultural Educators. I'm currently serving as president. I had a lot of great agriculture teachers behind me, and certainly many that I still call my peers and friends today, so just a shout out to all of them.
Hello, I'm Damont Dickens. I'm a senior agricultural education major. I'm here representing a student studying agriculture. I'll be doing student teaching in the spring of next year. It's a pleasure sitting on this panel with these distinguished individuals, and since it is National Teach Ag Day, I would like to commend all of the ag teachers that are out there putting forth their service, and I'll definitely get a shout out to my high school ag teacher, Mr. Morris Armstrong.
All right, my name is Allie Higgs. I'm a junior agricultural education student at the University of Kentucky, Go Cats. And I'd like to just give a shout out to my high school agriculture teachers, Mr. J.R. Zinner and Miss Christina Thomas, as well as my advisors at UK, Dr. Stacey Vincent and Dr. Rebecca Epps. I can't wait to see what this panel has in store for us.
We'll try and keep it fun. Now, if you get out of hand, I have this squishy owl. I may have to use it. Hopefully I won't. But if you haven't seen these yet, these are pretty awesome. I mean, I feel bad squishing an owl because it's such a nice owl, but we'll keep it here so you guys stay in line. All right. You know, Allie, actually, I'm going to start with our students right now. And the first question I'd like to ask you is, how did you decide that you wanted to be involved in agricultural education? So we'll start at that end and work our way this way.
Well, I kind of found agriculture and agricultural education in a roundabout way. I didn't grow up around direct agriculture. I was a couple generations removed, but I got involved with showing livestock, and I was just sold from there. And my agriculture teacher absolutely is the reason that I chose the university I go to, that I have the roommates that I do, that I surround myself with the people I'm with every day. So agricultural education has shaped every part of my life, and I just couldn't imagine not passing that on and not, taking on the torch, per se. So that was my story.
Much like Miss Higgs, my agricultural teacher is the one that, my biggest influence for studying ag. He's also the reason why I chose the university that I did, which was A&T. Ever since making that decision, it has really been a great pleasure, and some of the opportunities that I've been fortunate to have, I've been gratefully appreciated, and just interested in hopefully interested in touching someone's life just like he did for my own, and hopefully I'll do that one day in the ag field.
For our panelists, you can actually take the microphone out. Why don't you do that, and then you can just hold it so everyone across America can hear you. You're next, Farrah.
All right. I began my career in agriculture education as a seventh grader, and honestly, the biggest pull that kind of started that was that I was asked to go out for the parliamentary procedure team, and I got to argue with my sister, who was on the team, and it was allowed, and I didn't get in trouble. And so that was truly the very beginning spark for me. And as it just went from there, getting involved and seeing all the aspects of ag education, I could not imagine another career to be a part of.
I guess I may have taken the more traditional route. I grew up on a farm. I was immersed in agriculture as a young person. The other mic. Okay, I grew up on a farm. I was immersed in agriculture as a young person. I knew I wanted to do something in agriculture, but I wasn't really sure what it was until I enrolled in an agriculture course in high school. And very quickly I learned that teaching was something that I could do. And so I had an opportunity to do some peer teaching and things along those lines. And so my course was set, I guess, for my career.
Very good. Next question, and you can decide who. I started off. Now you guys can play. You're all leaders. You can handle this. So, question: and what types of courses will an agricultural education student take in college? Since we have a lot of people watching this who are in high school, what kind of classes will you be taking? And a follow-up: are there additional classes that you would recommend taking?
I guess I'll take a stab at that. I guess the pleasure about studying agricultural education is a very diverse field. I got to take classes in horticulture and plant science, as well as soil science and animal science. We try to focus on all of the sciences that are related in the agricultural field, and just emphasize and go beyond that as far as, just opening up for new fields coming up in the field of agriculture, because today, in today's society, everything is changing, and we want to keep an open mind and be abreast with all the new technologies that are out there, and provide those chances for our students that are studying at our universities. And I wouldn't really suggest anything else. I don't want to.
Don't want to make your professors mad.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
All right, I'll play off of that just a little bit. The cool thing about ag education and that being your major is that you get to take classes in so many parts of the College of Agriculture wherever you are. But I would suggest, and then also the neat part about it is that you get to specialize just a little bit too. So you dabble around in just a little bit of everything, and you find maybe ag econ, like Lindsay, is your thing, or maybe animal science. So you're also able to specialize while being diverse across the board, which is something that a lot of other majors don't get to do. And At the University of Kentucky, I know that we have some courses on agricultural advocacy and that sorts of thing. And I think that those classes are electives, but something really important to an agriculture teacher, because not only are you teaching those students, but you're an advocate for the agricultural industry within your communities, no matter where you are. So if they have that course, take it, absolutely.
Looking back now, two classes that I wish I had taken as a college student would definitely be food science and ag sales. Those are two areas that have just exploded in my career, and really didn't know a lot about it and have learned by trial by fire. And so those are two areas that I would really encourage. Looking at some of those maybe non-traditional classes may be an area for a career field in ag education.
Well, so far we've talked about the diverse agriculture courses that you can take, and also the opportunity to specialize in one area. But one of the things that we don't want to ignore is that we also give courses that allow you to learn how to do your job. And those courses in agricultural education are a critical component of our program. We believe that if we want somebody to learn something, we should teach it to them. And so as a result of that, we will teach students how to teach classes, how to plan lessons, how to plan programs, how to supervise agricultural experience programs for students, and how to be an FFA advisor, even though many of you probably already think you have that one down pretty well, but there's a different aspect there. So those are the types of things that you will find. You get a diverse agricultural background, an ability to specialize, and then a preparation for the career that you're going into that will serve you well. And I guess for additional courses, the ones I haven't talked about, I would strongly encourage anyone to take courses in leadership, in agricultural leadership especially, to be a better advocate for your profession and to take on those leadership roles that teachers need to take on. It's a profession that begs for leaders, and I think that's one of the things that we do very well in agricultural education.
Very good. Now, I know we're each biased because we all either currently teach at a current university or have been a student or are a current student at a university. But my question is, how should you best determine which college to attend for agricultural education? All bias aside, go Gophers. How should a student go about that?
As a high school student, I had an opportunity to participate in a livestock judging school at Mississippi State University. And when I came home and told my parents that I was going to go out of state, they quickly told me that in-state tuition was where I needed to be for my bachelor's degree. I never lost sight of that idea, and through some opportunities through ag education, I was able to then get my master's out of state at Mississippi State. And so I would encourage you to look at what is available close to home, see what, and maybe even looking of where you want to go as far as 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, but don't turn away any opportunities that may arise or may come up. You know, it was very fortunate that I was able to have an assistantship and earned a master's degree with very little money out of my pocket. So don't let that hold yourself back. You may look at what's available in-state first, and then look at other degrees in other places as well.
That wasn't quite fair, was it? I thought you were taking the mic. Well, I would say, echo the same thing, that look close to home, because even though I know when you're in high school you think, oh, I got to get out of this place, I want to get away, everything's got to be better outside of where I'm growing up. But in all reality, we have great agriculture programs all over this nation. And so I would, beyond that, suggest that you visit those programs. Sit in on a class, get to know those advisors, because those truly are who you will be surrounded by for the next 4+ years of college. So go and get a feel for it. And most agriculture programs, I know, especially at the University of Kentucky, that they're very welcome to letting you sit in, hang out, get to know who is there and who you'll be around. So just go and check it out for yourself.
Another critical aspect I'll add to that is definitely get out there and visit those different universities that you want to attend and get that experience. Also check out the opportunities that they offer. Do they possess scholarship money or grants or funds that can aid you in paying for college? Paying for college is one of the, a very critical issue in affording today's a good education. So I'll definitely say that. But try to understand and see if you fit in. Can you take on to the place that you're going to study at, and whether do you fit in, and do you see yourself being in that environment and growing and pushing past and succeeding in all the opportunities that you want to succeed in life.
Very good. Dr. Flowers?
Well, it's definitely not about whose football team is ranked number one or whose basketball team is ranked number one. Folks, this is your career. This is your future that you're looking at, and it shouldn't be determined by some athletic team that's affiliated by that school. Now, I say that because we know that applications go up every time a school wins a national championship in any type of a sport. And so think about this, and I agree wholeheartedly, that you should visit the campuses. You should visit the schools and get a feel for what you're going into. This day is all about teaching. It's all about the teachers. And so it's the teacher that's going to make the difference. And so that's why the faculty are going to make the difference about where you should choose to go. You need to go to the program that you think you're going to get the most from. And that means you look at the talent of the faculty, you look at the capacity of the faculty to do the things that you want from the program, and who do you think is going to best prepare you for that career in agricultural education? That's the bottom line. You also look at the students that are there. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to meet other students, because you want to see the product. You look at the teachers that have been produced from that school, and you want to determine, is this the right place for me? Do they have the track record that will show that they can produce the type of teachers and that the performance is going to be what you would expect to have? You want to be great, we want you to be great. And I would say that different universities fit for different students. You know, there's always that match that you have to make. But the big thing, I think, is the faculty make the program. The teacher makes the program. And wherever it is, whether it's at the university level, whether it's at the high school level or the middle school level, it's all about the teacher.
Much like in the high school programs. Yep.
Can I add one more
Yeah,
thing?
please.
And with saying that, it also made me think that I knew I wanted to be in the state of Florida. That's where I'm from, and that's where I wanted to be. It was such a blessing to get to know 7 years worth of ag teachers by going to the University of Florida as a freshman. When I came out into the profession, I knew people across the state, and I was able to make those connections with those people because I had had classes with them. And so if you have an interest of going out of state to teach, then you may want to think about that so you know some of those individuals in those states whenever you get started, or staying home and then knowing people across the state. That was really a blessing for me when I got started in my career.
Very good. Before we move on to the next question, I wanted to mention that if anyone in the audience has a question, there's a microphone right there. Please feel free to fire away at our esteemed panel. And then also for those of you watching across America as well, you can tweet in or Facebook, whatever you want. We're monitoring it in back. And if you have any questions for our panel as well. So just wanted to mention that. Moving on, and this is going to be different for everyone because everyone's unique, obviously, but describe your typical day in a classroom as a professor, as a secondary teacher, and then describe a typical day if there is one as a student, just so people can get some sort of grasp of, and using the word chaos is not allowed.
I'll start, but there's no typical day for a professor.
Should have told you that couldn't be said either.
Every day is a little bit different, but one of the things that I enjoy the most is when I have that opportunity to walk into the classroom, because all of the other things that happen at the university disappear. And it's all about me and the students at that time. And so that's the opportunity. Unfortunately, in my position as I'm a pseudo professor administrator, I guess, a cross between those two. And so I spend a lot of time dealing with administrative matters. Don't get to teach as much as I'd like to. The other thing that I enjoy the most is the interaction with students and advising and working with students and having an opportunity to pass along, to do some mentoring, pass along some information that I have, and go beyond what goes on in the classroom. Uh, then, of course, for university faculty, there are all the committee meetings and the other meetings and answering all the questions that you get from around the state and around the nation. So it's not a typical day. Everything's a little bit different.
My typical day begins around 7 o'clock in the morning and probably goes till 5:30 most days. I have 6 classes. In those 6 classes, I have several different preps throughout the day. And oftentimes, what works in one class period may not go exactly the same in another class period. Sometimes the questions are different. Sometimes the interests of the students are different. And so even when you have a lesson planned, sometimes there may be those teachable moments that come up and arise. And I'm a firm believer in trying to use those moments because there's a lot of great questions. And if you squelch those, then you'll lose that interaction and you'll lose those questions from those students in the future. Typically after school, either a CDE competition practice or an officer meeting or an FFA meeting typically takes place. But every day is different. Every day brings a new set of excitement and challenges and trying to keep up with all the students. My average class size is 32 students in a room. Most of them grades 9 through 12 in the same class period. And so oftentimes there's a wide array of interests and levels that you deal with. And so I think it's exciting because in some of our CTE courses are the only times those students get to actually interact with students of other grade levels and other ages. And so I think it's a great opportunity to talk about maturity and working together that comes from that, what some may view as a challenge.
I don't think there's a typical day for a student in a college environment. Each class has a unique schedule that they hold, that they're held accountable for, and it's just a experience. I mean, we get up and we go to different classes, and we know we turn in homework and we have discussion and the professor lectures. But it's the outside of the classroom experiences that really make who you are. Sometimes the smallest conversations between you and your professor can be the biggest difference in your life, and going to a organizational meeting or involving in the community outside of the classroom, those are still agricultural related, and we emphasize those inside the classroom, and we tell our students and classmates and individuals to take part in those. But those are the activities that really make a difference, and each of those activities are uniquely different for that particular situation, and it's just such a really great joy to participate in a community service event, or whether you're in the classroom helping out a student. It gives me a great pleasure to look forward as an agricultural educator, to know that every day for me is not the same. I may be inside the classroom one day lecturing about the smallest little thing, or I can actually take my students outside the classroom and be in the greenhouse or the local garden or visit those types of things. So no, there's no typical day. It's full of exciting, fun things that that a lot of the individuals here partake in every day, and it's a way of life. And you just get really happy about coming to work every day or going to class and knowing that you're going to learn something that's going to help you as a person and better your community or serve you in a better way.
I know that many of you watching are currently in FFA, and you may be wondering, like I was before I went to college, what will I fill my time with when I don't have this and that to practice for or prepare for or fill out outside of school? But I will assure you, as an ag ed major at a university, it is exactly the same. You find ways to fill your time, and you really don't have a lot of downtime because there's so much to be involved in. So I'll walk you through just a typical day for me as an ag education student. I start with some classes on main campus, which, you know, they are what they are. My general history, arts, and science classes. But then I get to go to the College of Ag. And I take those classes that really mean something to me. And those are my classes where I have my agricultural education professors, and that's where they're teaching us how to be teachers. And those classes are really exciting because they're interactive. Unlike a lot of those classes at a university, they're not just lecture. You're getting up, you're moving, you're doing things, and you're interacting. Next, we'll have lunch at the Ag Deli, is what we like to call it at UK, and it's like a family. We all eat together. A lot of times, our professors, they'll just sit down beside you with their ham sandwich, and you have a conversation. It's just like a big family. And then, well, and also I'll just say that some students have a fear that they'll go to a large university, and I don't know anyone. I'll never find my place to fit in. But when you're in agricultural education, you get plugged in so quickly, you don't even have to worry about that. Next, many students will be observing or student teaching or something of that sort at a high school in their state so that they can get some experience watching what different types of agricultural teachers do in their classrooms. So you get to leave campus for that, see the real world for a little bit, and then you may come back to campus for some sort of organizational meeting. And I know that a lot of ag ed majors are involved in lots and lots of different things. We've got agricultural education societies, block and bridles that deal with animal sciences, professional sororities and fraternities that are based around agriculture. So if you're ever worried that your life will just be dull and empty after FFA and after your, agriculture experience in high school, you'll fill it up very, very quickly.
Very good. We have about 5 minutes left of our panel, and I have 2 questions for you. The first one that I'll have you answer actually comes from someone, I believe, tweeted it in, Eric Spell from agcareers.com. What does the panel feel is the biggest surprise or challenge for new teachers? What do you think? Like, I don't know.
We actually had this conversation at lunch that trying to find a way to keep the balance of different ages, different students, different interests in the classroom, and keep it going and keep moving forward. And so I really think keeping that balance going in the classroom was one of the biggest challenges, and the paperwork they don't ever tell you about.
I'd have to agree with Farah. The diverse students that you have, because we tend to think everyone is like us, and that's not always the case. And so you find yourself think, I never imagined that students would do this, or I never imagined that students would think this way, or where did that come from? I think that's the biggest change that you have, because for 4 years, you've probably been in classes with people who are a whole lot like you. And then you find that the students out there think totally differently than the way that you do. And so it presents a challenge for you. Um, I don't think it's the FFA. I don't think it's the SAE. I don't think it's necessarily the instruction. It's just the interactions with the students is the biggest challenge, the biggest surprise, I guess.
Very good. And you know what? We'll just start. Well, you can answer however you want. Last question. Make it powerful. These are the last words you're going to impart on these students on this panel. Why should students teach ag?
You can make a difference. You can take an interest and make a difference where no other teacher on your campus where you teach can. There's a lot of students that we know find power, find a place to belong, and you can make that difference for those students. So I challenge you to do so.
What other field than agriculture is an option for that? As being inspired by a lot of agricultural education people, I really admire the passion and drive that they have
when they come to class every day knowing that, it's not just the classroom or the lab or getting their students out there in the community. It's the way they think. They incorporate their families so much of their lives. They wake up every morning with a smile on their face saying, I'm serving a purpose. I go to class and I lecture to hundreds of individuals that are, showing interest in my field of expertise, and just communicating that passion across to them, explaining that, this could be something great for you, and just emphasizing on that I've touched a few lives, and that, maybe one day if you could join into the field of education and definitely emphasize and make a difference in somebody else's life, that's what ag education offers.
I think that Miss Lindsay Anderson hit the nail on the head when she said that her ag teacher got to teach her those things that couldn't be found in a book. And I think that's why you should become an agriculture teacher, because you get to prepare students not just for college, not just for career, but for life. Those skills that they need to be successful in our society. And although all teachers have the opportunity to prepare students for life, agriculture teachers are presented with opportunities all the time through career and technical organizations and the outings you get to have with students and the extra contact that you get to have with them. You absolutely get a chance to teach them those skills that they may not ever get anywhere else.
There are two reasons that you should teach agriculture. One of them is that agriculture is important. It's critical to this country, and it's critical to a lot of local economies. The other reason is people are important, and the things that you can do to influence the lives of young people that will carry them through the rest of their life can't be measured. You really can't measure it. What we have in agricultural education is the opportunity to influence two of the most important things that that we come across every day: that agricultural industry and the people that are served by it. And that's why, if you have an interest in working with people and you love agriculture, there's no better profession that you could find anywhere.
Very good. Well, thank you all very much. Let's give our panel a round of applause. And thank you to Farah and Dr. Flowers for all that you do in the classroom every day, and best wishes to Damont and to Allie in the future being ag teachers as well. So they have a bright future ahead of them, and they have some great mentors here as well. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ellen. Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, things are going very well. I hope everyone is enjoying their time out in their sites, wherever they are. Thank you to everybody who was letting us know about some of the technical issues we were having, and I'm pretty certain that we have those taken care of now, so I apologize for the lack of being able to hear some of them. I believe we're on the right track now. I want to take a minute here, and it's really hard because social media right now is a little bit out of control, and so I'm having a hard time keeping track of everything. But I want to read a couple of shout-outs. Some of them are incredibly special to me because one of my former students did a shout-out. So Eric Spell sent in a question earlier, but he also wanted to say a shout-out to all the Teach Ag shout out for all Teach Ag educators on National Teach Ag Day. You help feed the world with talent. Lindsay Calvert says, Happy National Teach Ag Day. Proud to be joining the profession with my lovely ag teacher and dad. So I can certainly understand where she's coming from. Jason Carr from Minnesota says, having a great Teach Ag Day. Told my first block class the story of how I became an ag teacher. Life is pretty great right now. Sarah Warren says, rock on, ag teachers, rock on. The Wisconsin Farm Bureau says, whether you are a teacher or volunteer, thank you for teaching about ag. Mary Young, who is a parent of a future agriculture teacher, her daughter Tori, she says, ag ed changed my daughter's life. She went from shy to confident. Such a strong influence made her decide to pursue ag ed. Nobody asked me, because I wasn't on the panel, why you should teach ag, but there are more than two reasons. And one of them is that story right there, is about how it makes a difference in the lives of students. Right now in education, it's all about test scores and graduation rates and school scores. But when it comes down to it, it's really about students. It's about students, it's about communities, it's about the families that those teachers and those programs serve. And if you're looking for a profession where you can be something important to the lives of people that you may not even ever know that you impacted them, this, agricultural education, is the place for you. I also want to share that North Dakota FFA said thank you to all the ag teachers across the country, especially our North Dakota Aggies. You really do make a difference. Kevin Keith says hello to all current ag education instructors, especially those in the Northeast. Also best wishes to all our future ag teachers as in classrooms across the country. Happy National Teach Ag Day. I want to give a shout out to the Blackfoot Ag Program in Idaho. They right now, in honor of Teach Ag Day, their students are working with special needs students to do a plant project, and then they're giving those plants to administrators and teachers in the building. So there's all kinds of wonderful things going on. Becky Lauber at Utah State says Happy National Teach Ag Day. I also want to give a shout out to the Utah State students, as I know they're participating in the live stream now as well. Daniel Foster says, find a place that will help you discover your maximum potential as a global positive agent of change. Daniel, I hope I did you proud on that one. Jaden says, never been more proud to be a future ag teacher than today. I hope that that passion continues on for Jaden. Terry Riekman in South Dakota, there is no greater way to celebrate Teach Ag Day than to educate our youth. The Sibley East FFA officers in Minnesota created a candy card for their ag teachers, Mr. Tim Eulenkamp and Jeff Eppen. So congratulations to those officers for taking the lead in honoring their teacher. Part of the National Teach Ag campaign is really honoring teachers, celebrating what they do. And as part of that, the National Teach Ag campaign started an appeal through a partnership with the National FFA Foundation, who we greatly appreciate for all that they do to garner support through our sponsors for all of agricultural education and FFA's programming. Without them and their support, we would not be able to do any of this or connect us with the people that can help us make this all possible. So at this time, I'd like to share with you some of the people who have contributed to the appeal, and also some of the things that they have said in honor of agriculture teachers. If you are interested in contributing to the appeal and continuing to support the recruitment and retention of agriculture teachers, please go to the Teach Ag website, and everything that you need to do that will be there. I also want to add to that, Robin McLean posted an appeal on behalf of her grandfather, Robert McLean. It may not be my grandfather's vocational agriculture anymore, but his example to me when I was a child helped pave the way for me to enter the profession as an agricultural educator. And Robin also honored Beth Lamb, and she says, for modeling the example of what a dedicated agricultural educator is and helping me understand what it was to live the NAA creed of being an agricultural educator by choice and not by chance. Thank you. You made a lasting impact. And a big shout out to Robin, who is what we call one of our Teach Ag champions, who lives and breathes every day and supports and just really lives what it means to be an ag teacher. And she's also currently the ACTE Outstanding Teacher and representing agricultural education that way. So we certainly appreciate everything Robin does. A few more of the shout outs that we've got going here. Harry McKee says a big thank you to 3 great ag teachers in Bourbon County, Kentucky. Bailey Hurlbert from South Dakota State says, Ellen, give a shout out to your alma mater, SDSU, go Jackrabbits. We are here watching. So yes, go Jackrabbits. I am an SDSU alum and I'm also a University of Minnesota Gopher. So shout out to both of those, and I've done my due diligence that way. But any school that offers agricultural education is a great school. Amanda Forrester says thank you to Saul Ansai and WBS Saul High School for helping make me who I am and tagging me to teach ag. Megan Duchesne, this one's pretty special to me. Megan is a former student of mine when I was a high school agriculture teacher in the great state of Minnesota at Sauk Center. She says, Happy National Teach Ag Day. Even the fauna decided to celebrate, and there's a picture there as well. Hannah Wilt says ag teachers make a difference in the lives of students, and I'll have more shout outs for you later and continue to keep those coming, and I'm so sorry if we miss yours. Please know that we appreciate everything that you're doing, and I also apologize if we missed any of the questions that are coming through on social media. We're certainly doing our best to track that. At this time, I'd like to take a moment again and recognize some of those future ag teachers that were tagged to Teach Ag by their ag teacher and those collegiate programs that chose to celebrate in their special way. And remember, if you tweet back to us in the next 5 minutes, we'll be sending your program something. So I'll introduce you to a few more of our future awesome ag teachers. All right, so I'm looking forward to welcoming them to the profession very soon. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Miss Ashley Collins. She works for agcareers.com, and we're grateful to agcareers.com as they have allowed us through an agreement to post teacher positions on their site, and we thank them for allowing us to do that and also for connecting talent to agriculture positions. So I'm going to turn it over to Ashley, and she's going to introduce you to our next panel of stakeholders who benefit greatly from agriculture teachers. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you very much, Ellen, and thank you for your thanks to agcareers.com, but I must tell you that agcareers.com as a company, we thank ag teachers because without you all, we would not have job applicants using our website or near the volume of job applicants that we have, because ag teachers, you all as ag teachers, are those individuals who are helping us create the pipeline. So we certainly thank you for that. And I would be remiss if I didn't keep with this whole shout-out theme. So I have had a great many ag educators influence my life, and I'm grateful to all of them. But I'm going to take a bit of a different angle, considering that we have a lot of collegiate students in the room today and also watching live all over the country. Your mentoring teacher when you go out and do your student teaching. I went through an ag educator program at NC State University, and that mentoring teacher that I had, Mr. Michael Joe Holt Sr., had a tremendous impact on my life. And so that person that you all choose to be your mentoring teacher when you do your student teaching will have a great impact on you right before you're turned loose into the real world. And he had a great influence on mine. And even 8 years later, although I'm not in the classroom, he continues to be a mentor that I call and talk to and keep up with very regularly. So there is my shout out to him. And one of the things that made me think of him is, Lindsay mentioned it first, and then Allie mentioned it again, and I'm going to mention it for a third time about the great thing about being in agriculture is they teach you things that you can't learn in a book. And my ag teachers, Mr. Beam and Mr. Martin, did that, but Mr. Holt did that for me as well. And that's what developing yourself as a young professional is all about, is learning those things that aren't in a book so that you have the total package. So I appreciate the opportunity to moderate this panel today to try to wrangle these men together and have a good dialogue here. So I'm the outlier standing up here, but I'm going to give you a brief introduction to each person and then ask each of them a question and let them answer that question. These are the people who are going to stand behind you and already stand behind those ag teachers who are out there watching, supporting you. You're only as strong as the foundation that you're built upon, and we are the people, these people as stakeholders are those people who are helping build that foundation and maintain that foundation for ag educators, and they are certainly very grateful that while they are not in the classroom, they still get to work in this profession. So first I'm going to start off and introduce you here to Bob Barton. He is the immediate past president of the National FFA Alumni Association. Sitting next to him, we have Gerald Barlow, who is housed here in North Carolina and leads the state agricultural education initiatives throughout the state. And then at the end of the table, we have Dr. Edward Romero, who is from A&M Commerce, but also leads an initiative, Latinos in Agriculture, which helps to bring a lot of diversity to the ag industry and supporting the diverse populations of ag teachers that we're bringing into the pipeline. So I'm going to start with you, Bob. From an alumni standpoint, can you tell us about the important role alumni plays for local ag teachers in their outreach to the community?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Just a couple things. We've got this whole shout-out thing. So Mr. Chuck Miller, my ag teacher, Hermiston High School, Hermiston, Oregon, retired now. And I've got to say that I would not be present in front of all of you if it wasn't for him. I'm the individual that he saw something in that I didn't see in myself. So thank you, Mr. Miller. Love you, buddy. Also, a big shout out to Oregon State University, the teacher educators there. Dr. Lambert, actually a North Carolina State grad, out there teaching teacher educator, and Dr. Thompson, North Dakota State. Thank you guys for all you do as well. It's the influence and the impact you have on kids is the utmost of importance. One of the reasons why I got involved in this thing called the alumni, and one of the challenges I had from my ag teacher that I just mentioned, he asked me to get back involved. He asked me if I would come back. He was getting close to retirement. I don't know if it was because my daughter was coming into the ag program at that time. I don't know if he didn't want to go through another one of us or not, but he asked me, and what he handed down to me was, we want to see that we have sustainable agricultural education in the classroom after I leave. And he says, we need to build that now. We need to make it easy on those next generations that are going to come to this high school to teach ag to make the impact that I've been able to make on kids for over 30 years. So I took that challenge. And what we've been able to build, along with a lot of help, it's certainly not all myself, but what we've been able to build is a sustainable program that grew from 80 students to over 320 students. We've been able to build something that we can send every student that wants the opportunity to go to state convention that opportunity. We can send every student that earns a proficiency award to the next step. We've been able to earn the ability to impact kids to do what they want to do that they couldn't see of themselves that they want to do tomorrow. And it's that sustainability, it's that community outreach, it's the ability for that new ag teacher to come into a community that they weren't from originally in a lot of cases and be able to step into place without missing a step. Having that sense of community, having the ability to reach out for the judging pool for an event that they don't have to worry about. It allows them the ability to do what they do, stay in the classroom and teach ag and make that impact on the next generation of students.
Thank you very much. Mr. Barlow, I want to ask you a question next. In your role, you are out in the community, in the state, in different areas, and you're building relationships for the betterment of agricultural education. And, you know, we're here today to celebrate ag teachers, and there's no better way to celebrate ag teachers than to talk about all the positive and great stories that go with ag educators. And we know that these relationships you are building are critical. So can you give us a story or an example of how an ag educator helped open a door for you to build a relationship that has become long-lasting to support ag education?
Thank you, Ashley. I guess one of the great things about my job is I get to travel and I get to meet with people involved in the agricultural industry and the educational industry and the educational business in this state and across the country. And many times when you're meeting with these folks and you begin to talk about their experiences, you don't go very long before oftentimes you realize, and they tell you, that they were a part of the FFA. And as you talk about their experiences, in just a matter of seconds, it always seems to go back to their ag teacher. They always mention it. They'll mention their blue jacket, and they'll mention their ag teacher. And the impact that their teacher had on them, and probably the reason they're where they are today is because of that impact. And so it's very critical. And those teachers unwillingly are opening doors and opportunities for the future generations without even realizing it. And I want to share a story with you that occurred just this week. Earlier in the week, I was at a CTE conference with CTE directors from all over the state. And a part of that conference, they had a panel discussion, and they brought in legislators from North Carolina. These are the policymakers for education and for agriculture and for many other areas in our state. And they asked them various questions. And one of the members of one of the legislators, in his explanation of some things, he indicated that when he graduated from high school, he attended the Air Force Academy. And while at the Air Force Academy, and as they trained him to fly supersonic jets, he was impacted by some of the great leaders of our country, some of the great mentors of our country. And then later, after his career in the Air Force, he went to Columbia University, where he got his master's degree. And he met one of the most prestigious universities in our country. And he met a lot of great people. But he told that group of folks, he said, of all the people that have influenced me, no one has ever had more influence than my ag teacher did in high school. And, of course, I beamed in the audience because I hear that story so often. But that's a true testimony of the impact that ag teachers have every day on young people without even realizing it. You never know where that student's going to end up and how they can influence the future of this country and agriculture. So as ag educators, we have a great opportunity to open doors, sometimes without even realizing those doors are there. And so I share those stories with you because as future agricultural educators, you can impact the world, and you can live that last line of the FFA motto, living to serve.
I want to kind of piggyback there on Mr. Barlow's story, and just as we were going through that dialogue, a story came to my mind, and I'll kind of give this a little lightheaded or a lighthearted tone here of a story as he talks about this impact that ag teachers make on students. So when I was in high school, my ag teacher, Mr. Martin, and I'll just call him out, and y'all, he may get mad after he hears the story I'm about to tell if he's watching. Our school was known for soil judging. We did very well in soil judging, and he had taken a group of the soil judgers to Oklahoma for the national competition, and he got pulled over for speeding. And when the state trooper came up to the vehicle, they asked, the typical questions: "What are you doing? Why are you here? you're speeding, sir, and you've got these kids. Where are you going? And he explained to them that he was an FFA teacher in ag education, and he was taking these students to a soil judging competition. And immediately the state trooper began to recite the FFA creed. And he let my ag teacher off with just a warning to not speed in his state again. And so when I heard that in high school, as someone who has a lead foot, I thought, I'm going to remember that in case I'm ever pulled over hauling students to a competition. So there's a bit of advice for any ag teacher out there of how you are making an impact, and you never know when one of your students is going to become a state trooper in the future, and learning the FFA creed may pay off. So just a little lighthearted example of how you can make an impact. So now I'm going to go down and ask Dr. Romero a question. How have ag educators had a positive influence on impacting the diverse populations that you interact with and in their communities? What are some examples that you've heard from that side of the spectrum?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Ashley and Alan. It's a pleasure to be here. One of the questions that I get asked quite often is with regards to the conference that we host is Latinos in Agriculture Leaders Conference, which is held every October, and we are going into our third year, is how are we able to impact the diverse populations, particularly the Hispanic population in which I work with out in the community, as Ashley phrased the question. And one of the things that was difficult for me was to actually be able to answer that question at first glance. And so we have a Facebook page, just like many of the organizations, and so we have a little over 1,000 members or likes on our Facebook page, and so I sent out a question to our members and asked the very same question because I wanted to know, I was curious to know what the ag teachers had, how they had impacted their lives. And so I'm going to read you a couple of direct quotes from a variety of students that responded to my question so that you can get a sense for what or how they feel about how ag educators impacted their life. And so the first student that responded was, he said that they encouraged them into higher education. So, and I had another student that said they pushed me into higher education. And so what I took that to mean was that the ag educators took a direct interest in the students' lives. For many of the students that I work with, many of them are first generation in their family to go to college. And so to the family, it's a big deal for them to go off to college. Another student said, let students know that agriculture can be some things more than just working in the fields. And so for many of the students that I work with and that I interact with, and some of the families as well, and through this conference, is many of them come from migrant families. And so many of them have this perspective about agriculture, and sometimes it's not always positive. And so the fact that the ag teacher shows them the variety of different opportunities in ag econ, ag business, showing animals, the CDEs that they participate in, I think is critical to helping students see a different perspective about the broad world of agriculture. Another student said, ag educators are mentors. They become part of the family and push us to be our best. I think we've heard that same mantra some today about how ag teachers really become part of the family and they come embedded into the social structure within the families. The same student said they teach us the importance of working as a team with fellow students as well as our own family. And part of that is going back to one of the comments that I mentioned earlier about students being first generation in their families. Sometimes families don't know the expectation that is required for students to be in college and to take the courses that they take. And so ag educators sometimes are the intervening individual between the family and the student, and to helps the parents understand that dynamic. Another student said, I go back to my ag teacher and ask questions of my own future even after I have graduated from high school. They have instilled knowledge in or about agriculture. I had an opportunity to be an FFA officer and have a show animal. For many students, this is the first time they've even been around animals. And so the fact that they're able to show something as part of a class project is really meaningful to many of the students, and the parents also learn about agriculture as well. Another student said, I still have friends who are ag teachers, and they are each hard workers as well as great mentors. If you've been around your ag teacher, I think that statement is very, very true. My ag teacher seemed to work nonstop, 24/7. It seemed like no matter when I called or when I saw him, he was out driving to someone's house to go weigh some hogs or to look at some lambs, or preparing for CDEs, or just preparing for class in general. So they're always constantly on the go. Two more. They teach us how to lead, how to cope, and most importantly, how to deal with the ups and downs of agriculture. And so I think it's important to recognize that we've said in the past, others have said today, that they teach us about life. And the last quote that I'll share is, and I think it summarizes everything that we've been talking about, but this one student said, they provide the basis of how to navigate life. And so I think it's important to understand that the ag teachers are so impactful in the communities that I work with, and undoubtedly yours as well, but they're really critical to the work that we do and the conference that we host, Latinos in Agriculture Leaders Conference in San Antonio every year.
Edward, I'm going to let you keep the mic there, and I'm going to ask each of our panelists very briefly in our closing minutes here to share with us what they think, because I think it would be interesting for the students in the audience and also the educators in the audience to hear what these people who are back there building the foundation and giving you the pat on the back think is the coolest thing about being an ag educator. So just really quickly, for each of you, what do you think is the coolest thing about being an ag educator?
I think the fact, it's just, we've heard it before, but it's very simple, but just the fact that you have an impact or can have an impact in someone's life that can be everlasting, I think is just really critical. It's simple, but it's so critical.
This is my 30th year in agricultural education as a teacher and in a role in agricultural education. I could tell you a lot of things that I thought were cool. But I think probably one of the things that is really special and cool that we really hadn't been mentioned today is the fact that agricultural educators are a family. And we say that, and sometimes people don't understand what that means. But in this state, and in probably every state across the country, and as a national group, we know each other, we talk with each other, we share with each other. You're not out there on your own. Sometimes people go into other fields of education and they feel like they're alone because they don't have places to get resources. But we do. We share daily with teachers, and we build friendships. And I could go anywhere in this state today, and if I had a flat tire, that would be a teacher that I know somewhere probably within 10 or 15 miles that I could call, and they would come and help me. And having that relationship and that family is so important because you're never alone. And when we have a problem, folks rally around it. When we have a death in a family, one of our teachers lost his mother this week, and our teachers rallied around that individual. So having that family is really, really important and really, really is cool, and it's unique to agricultural education more so than any other field in education.
Being from the outside looking in, not being an ag educator myself, I'm actually a contractor volunteering to the organization. And when I get with ag teachers, and the thing that really stands out to me that gets to them is when they look at that student, when they know they get it. He says they all say that it's a very definite thing when they look at that student and the light bulb finally goes off. That's the most emotional part in their day.
Thank you very much, and I just want to say a thank you to everyone for tuning in and for allowing me to moderate this panel, and a big thank you to each of these stakeholders and all the other stakeholders who are out there across the country who help support the ag education programs in their community. So thank you very much.
All right. So, we're tracking all of this on social media, and I was just reading, and Megan Duchesne, I saw that you said you were tagged to teach ag. So I'm going to need to know if that truly means that you are going to be an ag teacher. That would be really amazing. So I need some clarification on that, Miss Megan. Okay, a few more shout outs here. Oregon FFA alumni says, we love our ag teachers in Oregon. Have a great National Teach Ag Day. Go Oregon State, growing us new teachers each year. One last thing says, you might be an ag teacher if you refer to your students as my kids. Emma Cannon says, excited to see North Carolina FFA Ag Ed leader Mr. Barlow speaking about the influence ag teachers have on individuals. Mr. Matt Eddy, also one of our Teach Ag champions, along with Dr. Daniel Foster and CHS's William Nelson. But Mr. Matt Eddy says, the case for Ag Biotech class is working on DNA projects and watching TAG live. And Sarah Schreiner says, I shared my story today about how I got involved in FFA and became a teacher, and I got a little teary-eyed. Does not surprise me at all. Nina Crutchfeld from National FFA says, why teach ag? Do you love ag, love kids? It's the job for you. And I also want to give a big shout out to CASE. CASE for Learning thanks all ag ed teachers for their dedication to student development. The CASE curriculum is an amazing curriculum that's transforming agricultural education and helping teachers retain themselves in the classroom and really impact students in a new and exciting way through STEM and through a lot of other unique models. So congratulations, CASE, for all that you're doing for ag teachers. We appreciate everything that you are doing. I want to take this time now to recognize another set of future ag teachers. And I also believe part of the collegiate part of it, there was a contest to see who could send in the most unique and interesting photo. I think the winner is in this section. But I can't remember, so it says, though, on their slide, so we'll see. Yeah. Yes, it is, yay! Congratulations, Clemson. All right. I have a few more things. There was a question on Twitter about wondering what would happen to this live stream. It will be archived, and you can go back and watch it on the TCHAG website. Give us probably about a day to get it up on there, but then it'll be available for you to watch whenever you would like to. I would like to give a shout out to the University of Florida and Miss Brittany Ware, who they took over a board in their on campus, and they're dedicating it to Teach Ag Day. So congratulations, University of Florida Gators. Jillian, I just want to let you know that I did not know today was National Pancake Day, but we are pleased to share Teach Ag Day with Pancake Day. So thank you for bringing that. It probably is not as cool as last week when it was National Pirate Day. Like, that would have been really cool. But we'll take pancakes. Mr. Josh Bledsoe, I want to give him a shout out. He sent out a letter to all ag teachers across the country thanking them for all of their dedication to the profession and to students, and he is doing that on behalf of the National FFA organization. Mr. Blake Berry, who is a ag teacher in South Carolina, wrote letters to all of the ag teachers in the state thanking them and doing his part to let them know that he appreciates his colleagues. Mr. Parker Bain says, I'm loving all the talk of impact, and I'm loving all the actual impact that ag teachers do because it's do-do. Pretty amazing. Okay, so what I'd like to do at this time is introduce you to someone who is a remarkable champion for agricultural education, and also someone that I would call a very good friend, and I also, from time to time, call him my boss, which he truly is. I want to introduce you to Mr. Jay Jackman. He is the Executive Director of the National Association of Agricultural Educators and works on behalf of agriculture teachers across this country day in and day out, and wakes up every day strongly believing in what you do and preparing the profession for those future teachers that come in. So I'm going to ask him to share a few words about this wonderful profession. So Dr. Jackman, to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How about it for Ellen, who is the coordinator of the National Teach Ag campaign. Thank you, Ellen, for the wonderful work that you do. You know, to keep the tradition here today going, I have to say that my agriculture teachers, there were a lot of them. It took a lot of them to do any good with me. My ag teachers were Joel Colliver and Jerry Greer. Those two gentlemen have passed on to their heavenly reward. But I also want to mention James Bailey and Frank Rowland and Keith Weaver. And I also want to mention my university professors who were my very, very valuable teachers, Dr. David Coffey, Dr. Charles Byers, Dr. Rod Tullock, Dr. John Hillison, Dr. Bill Kemp, and many, many others that have been my agriculture teachers. Some of you in this room, in fact, have been my agriculture teachers in a lot of ways. I want to say to all of you who are either agriculture teachers already, or those of you who are preparing to be agriculture teachers, my thanks to you for being a part of this profession. You know, if you think about agricultural education, just think about those two words, agriculture and education. What could anyone do that would be more valuable and contribute more to our society and, in fact, to our world than being involved in the greatest industry on the planet, agriculture, and being involved in the greatest profession on our planet, that's teaching. Agriculture teachers are special people. We all know that, don't we? We just loved our agriculture teachers, and many of us that enter the ag teaching profession would look back and say, I'm entering this profession because my ag teachers made such a difference in my life. We hear that theme over and over and over again. And for those of you that may have heard me speak before, you've heard me say, and I will continue to say it every time I step up to the microphone, that other than my mom and dad, who I'm so fortunate to still have in my life, they're 83 and 84 years old, Robbie and J.T. Jackman in Barron County, Kentucky. But other than my mom and dad, my agriculture teachers, all of them, were the most important influencers in my life. And it's my ag teachers that have caused me to have any bit of success that I've had in my life, in my career. I owe it to my parents and then to my ag teachers. So what a wonderful profession you are either in or preparing to enter. Let me say just a little bit about agricultural education. You know, ag teachers are what make agricultural education so wonderful. But our model of instruction in agricultural education is also very special. And we really need to contemplate on the agricultural education model from time to time, because there's nothing else like it in our public school system. See, we value excellent classroom and laboratory instruction. That instruction can take place in a traditional classroom. It can take place in an agricultural mechanics laboratory or a shop. It can take place in a greenhouse. It can take place on a school farm or an arboretum, some sort of a land lab. That excellent instruction can happen in so many different places, different than in a math class or a science class typically. But we also have those extra components, those value-added components of experiential education that at the secondary and middle school levels we call SAE, Supervised Agricultural Experience. And see, as ag teachers, current or future, you have the opportunity to get to know those students on a level that other teachers in your schools don't have the opportunity to do. You have the opportunity to see them in their workplace, to see them on their own farms, to see those students interacting with their parents, their grandparents, their neighbors. Other teachers don't have that opportunity. As an ag teacher, you do. You have the opportunity to interact with students through leadership development, personal growth, and career success. And again, at the middle and secondary levels, we do that through FFA. And what wonderful opportunities are provided for our students through the FFA organization. But see, when you put all of these things together, classroom instruction, the experiential learning opportunities, the leadership development, personal growth, career success. When you put all that together, it's a model that's second to none in all of the public education system. And your opportunity to reach students is different than any other part of the public education system. That's what makes it so valuable. Now, the model's good, but the model is only as good as the teacher that delivers it. And so for all of you that are in the classroom today who are delivering that wonderful model of instruction, I say thank you. I say thanks to my teachers, and I say thanks to all teachers. For those of you who are preparing to be teachers, some of you maybe that are watching right now through the live feed, you may be high school students preparing to be ag teachers. What wonderful career opportunities lie ahead of you to work in agriculture and to work in education. So stick with your career plans and pursue agricultural education when you go to the university. For those of you who are university students who are preparing to be ag teachers, you're getting closer every day to taking that first teaching job. And what an exciting day that will be when you can walk into that classroom and look around and say, I told you I'd get emotional. To say, this is my domain. This is where I'm going to change lives in a positive way. What wonderful opportunities you have to do that. And I don't apologize for getting emotional about ag education. So, we love ag education. I love all ag teachers. I love those of you that are preparing to be ag teachers, and I thank you. And I value our model, and I hope that we can all be true to it as we continue our careers and begin our careers as agricultural educators. You know, just as I wrap up here, I just want to say a few thank yous. I want to say thanks again to Ellen for all the excellent leadership she provides to the entire National Teach Ag campaign, and especially to National Teach Ag Day. Believe it or not, you'll believe it, National Teach Ag Day was her brainchild. She called our office one day when she was still an agriculture teacher in Minnesota, and she said, I got this idea. She still does that. She calls and says, I got this idea. She does it all the time. But she called and said, I have this idea for a national Teach Ag Day. Let's do it as a pilot program. And I said, no, let's not do it as a pilot program. Let's do it as a national initiative and really roll it out. And that's how National Ag Day began, and then, or National Teach Ag Day, and then the National Teach Ag campaign grew from that. So Ellen, thank you for making all of this happen. I also want to say thanks to the rest of our staff. Julie Fritsch, I don't know if she's in the room right now. She was, but yeah, there she is back in the back. Julie is our NAAE Marketing and Communications Director. She does a fantastic job assisting with all of our initiatives, including the campaign. I want to say thanks to Allie Higgs, who is our National Teach Ag Campaign intern, and all the staff back at home with NAAE who are watching this right now. I thank all of them for the good work that they do. I also want to say thanks to Dr. Antoine Austin and all of the administrators and the faculty and the staff here at North Carolina State A&T University for providing this wonderful facility for us and for helping with all of the technical things to get all this set up and going. We are delighted to be with you here in this place. What a wonderful place. Thanks for hosting us. Also, just want to say thanks again to all of our sponsors and our partners, to the National FFA Foundation, to the CHS Corporation and the CHS Foundation, to CSX, and to many individuals who have contributed to this campaign that have made it all possible. So let me just wrap up here and turn it back over to Ellen for the concluding remarks, but just to say thanks for being a part of this, all of you that are in the audience today, as well as the hundreds and probably thousands who have viewed the live stream today. Go Ag Education. Happy National Teach Ag Day, everybody.
He's always my dedicated closer. He nails it every time, just like everybody. Everyone who has participated today, 16 different individuals have been have been part of National Teach the live stream today, and I thank every one of them. Everybody showed up today with their A game and gave 110%, just like the Clemson people who had their hands on the rock. That's the criteria, right? 110%. Otherwise, you're out. So congratulations to Clemson for their unique photo, and we continue to think of them as they deal with a difficult time. But what I'd like to do now is show our last group of future ag teachers who have been tagged to teach ag, and I look forward to again welcoming them to the profession. And then don't go anywhere though, because we still got stuff. We still got stuff to do. All right, let's give a hand to all those future ag teachers out there who understand what it takes and have answered the call to this amazing profession. So we've heard a lot today. We've heard a lot about the impact that ag teachers have. We've heard a lot about what you need to do to think about looking at college campuses and what it means to be an ag teacher and the lives that have been touched by ag teachers. But now what? So now what? Maybe you've been watching this and you think, that's me. I love agriculture. I love working with young people. I want to do something that's important and makes a difference. So now what? And that's part of what the National Teach Ag campaign is here to do. The National Teach Ag campaign is here to give you the tools and resources to go out there and teach ag. We're here to serve the profession. We have no allegiance to anyone, although we've given shout outs to a number of colleges and institutions and states. We love them all equally. So now what? Well, visit the Teach Ag website. We've got a lot of tools on there. You can sign up for the National Teach Ag campaign and receive regular correspondence about the profession and hear from those in the profession doing what they love every day. Get started by finding a school. Also look at the question and answer section. What else can you do? Shadow an ag teacher for the day. Here's some amazing ag teachers doing things in their classrooms every day. Develop an ag education SAE and work towards seeing what it's really like before you have to go out there. Set up a practice teaching opportunity. I know many programs right now are doing that very thing. If you need help in figuring out what happens next, contact us. That's what the Teach Ag campaign is here for. Again, we're here to serve the profession and make sure that we have a quality supply of agriculture teachers so that every single student in this country that wants to be part of ag education and the leadership development and the experiential learning that happens in an ag education program has that opportunity. So we need you to think about agricultural education. You. I am talking to you. So please consider this calling and this profession. I have a few more shout outs and then we'll commence with wrapping up for the day. So the Middletown Ag Ed program says that they have 2 future Teach Ag educators. A shout out to, and I apologize for names, I truly do. I'm doing the very best that I can. Shout out to Dane Grossnickel and Kylie Slimmer. The Minnesota Soybean Growers says, thanks to all the ag teachers out there who share their knowledge of soybeans and farming. Happy National Teach Ag Day. Janae Van Buskirk, what a better time for a first tweet. So that's her first tweet. It's about National Teach Ag Day. Yay! Syngenta, tell the world you are proud to teach ag. Kaisia says, I am tagged to teach ag at Arkansas Tech. I also want to give a very, very heartfelt shout out to all of the spouses of agriculture teachers. Agriculture teachers could not do what they do without the spouses that are taking care of things at home, and if you don't have a spouse, someone in your family is helping you. And I can't even imagine being able to do what I have done the last 12 or 13 years in agricultural education without my husband, Jamie Thompson, who takes care of everything and has been, if anyone is a Teach Ag champion, it's those spouses that take care of things for us. And to my family, and to all of the families of agriculture teachers, nobody does this alone. It takes a village to raise an ag teacher, and that is so incredibly true. So a huge shout out to the families and spouses and children that have grown up going to FFA banquets and CDEs and being babysat by their students. And I'm thinking of one of my best friends, Natasha Mortensen, had her first child at state FFA convention, and now Grace is just a part of the Morris Ag program. And I also want to say that the Morris students gave a shout out to their two ag teachers, Natasha Mortensen and Nick Milbrandt. I didn't have that one, so I apologize for who that was that did it. At this time, I want to roll into thanking, as Jay started. There's a lot of people here that we need to thank, and then after the thank you, we're going to end by taking a tour of the North Carolina A&T Ag Ed Department and Agriculture College. So without further ado, I want to thank, of course, all of the panelists and everybody and the moderators and Mike Honeycutt and Shireen and Lindsay and Miranda and Jay and Allie, of course, and the entire NAAE team. And I couldn't do this job without Julie Fritsch. She makes a lot of things possible, and I just absolutely think she's the world. Of course, Dr. Alston and Dr. English and the entire North Carolina A&T team. Last year we had the event at Buena Park High School in California, and Jessica Fernandez and Marianne Maxfield hosted us, and I thought, man, this is just amazing, and everything was great. And North Carolina A&T stepped up to the plate and never missed a beat. I said, I need this, no problem. I need this, already done. What about this? Yep, one step ahead of you. So that's the kind of people that you work with in this profession, the people that show up every day doing the things that we love to do. And of course, our sponsors and CHS and CSX, and anyone else who would like to sponsor the Teach Ag campaign. Is that okay to say? My job is to make sure that we have a quality supply of agriculture teachers, and I would be remiss if I did not do what I had to do to make that possible. So if you're out there and you're interested in helping support the National Teach Ag campaign and recruiting and retaining the most talented, amazing, wonderful people in this world, please let us know, and we'll do everything that we can. I also want to give a shout out to Anderson Bean Boot Company, who just this week upped their ante of last year. They supplied us with a pair of boots, and they are going to continue to do that every year. And so we're proud to have them as a partner in this as well. So again, thank you everyone for this amazing day. Thank you to the agriculture teachers who've touched so many lives. And I really appreciate you tuning in. It will be archived on the website. Continue to use the Tag Live 13 hashtag, and we'll see how many tweets we got out. We'll try to get that number out here in the next 24 hours, but I suspect millions, right? Billions. Why wouldn't there be? What an amazing profession and what an amazing day. And now I'm going to turn it over to the 2-minute video of North Carolina A&T, and that will close us out for the day. Thank you so much, and have a happy National Teach Ag Day.
From the beginning, we've had a relationship with the land, sustaining our planet, saving our world. From seeds to food to what we eat, wear, broker, and market. Everything begins with North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. The School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences at A&T is where roots take hold. A&T is where students need to be if they want to make a difference in the world. By the time they're ready to graduate, more than 90% of our students have jobs. Here are some of them. Everything begins with A&T. Through our diverse majors, the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences at A&T prepares students to save the planet, teaches them to feed and clothe it, shows them how to predict its trends, to monitor its resources, to forecast its future. Everything begins with A&T. If you want to make a difference in the world, begin the future right here with us.
Let the record show that we ended at exactly 3 o'clock. That almost never happens to me, so I'm glad that that's on video. I also want to give a last shout out to Laura Hasselquist at Chippewa Falls in Wisconsin for her tweet and for all of the other tweets. And now truly I am done because it's 3 o'clock. So thank you and have a wonderful day.